Plain sight. Where the streets are empty, that's where we run. Everyday people do everyday things, but I can't be one of them. I know you hear me now. We are a different kind. We can do anything. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be. Anybody's got the power.
All right. Why don't we do a fade out, Michael? I want to introduce and welcome our audience into the room. Thank you all so much for joining. I see the numbers going up quickly in our audience, and they're well beyond the number you see in the participant window, because I know we've got a number of watch parties out there with some full audiences all together in one Zoom space watching. So, Michael, just for a moment, let's drop the slide here and let everyone look around the space at all of the volunteers, the watch parties that are out there. I see balloons and popcorn at some. I see a lot of leaders and giant fans of our volunteers here to celebrate you all. So I'm excited to welcome you. My name's Steve Fecto. I'm from Talent Development and Learning. It is my joy and pleasure and honor to be asked to help host and run through and facilitate this session. But really, I want to thank Sherry Kaplan and Dana Kiefner, who have helped put together this show with their leadership of the volunteer services departments from every single hospital site that is here. I'm going to introduce them all as we go around the entire system, but so many people have contributed to putting together this event to honor volunteers as part of Healthcare Volunteer Week 2023. It's April 16th to 22nd, and we're excited to say this is the second time that we've celebrated as an entire system. The first time was last year, where we did this full system appreciation event. We're really excited to do it for the second time. It lets every department be seen together as one whole for Mount Sinai. And all of our leadership, you'll see many of our hospital presidents from around the system here to join and celebrate. I also want to thank my team backstage, Alyssa G and Andrea and Michael Joseph, who are here to make sure this show goes smoothly. And we're going to start that off by adding in some spotlights. I want to, before we go around the system, we've got some leaders who want to kick us off and talk a little bit and share their appreciation for volunteers. And we're going to go from there. A big theme for this year is tying the volunteer work to what makes every employee at Mount Sinai a special contributor to everything we do for our patients and for our communities and for our families and guests and for each other. And that is celebrating our 6 core Mount Sinai values. I won't tease them out right now, but you'll see as we go around and present some volunteer awards, there are new volunteer values awards, and each site chose one of our values to recognize a special volunteer for their services in that way. So to start off, I want to go to a couple of our system leadership. And with that, I'm going to go first to Erica Rubenstein. Erica is our Vice President of Service Excellence and Patient Experience for Mount Sinai Health System. And on deck after that, we're going to go to Sherry Kaplan. She's our Senior Director of Volunteer Services for the health system. But Erica, let's start with you to welcome and congratulate our audience of volunteers.
Hey, Steve, thank you. And hi, everyone. It's so amazing to be here with all of you. We are just so fortunate here at Mount Sinai to have well over 1,000 volunteers throughout our sites and our hospitals, helping us each and every day care for our patients and support our colleagues. We are so grateful for all that each of you do for us. I want to share that I recently had a dear friend who was hospitalized at Mount Sinai Morningside, and I went to visit her on a day that was actually a holiday. And I was so grateful to see a volunteer walking on her unit, checking in with her and the other patients, making sure that they were comfortable. My friend even commented on how kind and thoughtful the volunteer was, always lending a listening ear. And it reminded me that you all are here to help make our New York City hospitals feel like the very close-knit, caring community that we are. And it's such a special thing. You all are here to bring about those special moments, to help with wayfinding, getting patients to where they need to go. And that makes me think of so many different volunteers from across sites, but especially our Mount Sinai Hospital ambassador volunteers throughout the Joseph F. Coleman Institute for Patient Experience. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Edgar Coleman, one of our trustees, who I believe is with us today. Thank you for joining us, Edgar. I know you and your sister Susan are always so supportive of these events. And I also want to highlight that, volunteers do even more than making sure patients are comfortable with a warm blanket or delivering a meal. Oftentimes they sit and they listen to our patients and they hear their stories. And that is so valuable, the time that is spent. And so I can't thank you all enough. And I also wanted to mention that this past year, the volunteer services departments across the system have officially become a part of the Office of Patient Experience. So as we look to Patient Experience Week, which is next week, we're reminded that you, our volunteers, are the patient experience. And we are so proud of all that you do. Congratulations to today's Volunteer Values Award honorees and to every volunteer who serves at Mount Sinai Health System. You are priceless. So I'm going to stop there and turn it over to Sherry Kaplan, who is our Senior Director of Volunteer Services for the health system. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you so much, Erica. It is wonderful to see so many welcome faces gathered today. Our hospital leaders, our volunteer department leaders, and our greatest human resource of all, you, our magnificent Mount Sinai volunteers. You are the heart and the soul of Mount Sinai Enterprise, and I have seen firsthand your remarkable achievements all across the city and Long Island. 8 hospitals that are home to one extraordinary volunteer corps. Today, we celebrate all you have achieved at your Mount Sinai home by shining a light on Mount Sinai core values: safety, equity, agility, creativity, empathy, and teamwork. These are the core Mount Sinai values that you uphold. You embrace them and live them every single day. They are the thread that tie us together and define the essence of who we strive to be as a community. Have you ever met a volunteer who did not demonstrate teamwork or empathy, safety or agility? After these past 3 years, my guess is no. The greatest challenge in executing this vision for the Volunteer Values Award was choosing one volunteer per hospital and one value per volunteer. Because the truth is, every one of you embodies multiple Mount Sinai values. You all share every one, because that's just what Mount Sinai volunteers do. So congratulations and thank you, Mount Sinai Health System volunteers and the volunteer department leaders and teams who recruit, discover, onboard, train, and support you through your journeys. Every one of you comes to us with a passion to help, and our volunteer services teams expertly match the right person with the best assignment so that you can work your magic at the bedside or the bench, down the hallways, behind the scenes, and everywhere in between. So whether you are an award recipient today or not, every one of you is a treasure. In gratitude for your service and in celebration of Healthcare Volunteer Week, you will receive this special Mount Sinai Volunteer Values bookmark designed for you by us to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, thank you so much, Sherry. Wonderful. And I agree completely. Oh, look at the cheer. We can't hear them. I wish we could hear the Mount Sinai Hospital watch party. I see the streamers and loud noisemakers going wild in appreciation for your message. And I agree. It's so important that all of our values are celebrated by all of our employees and volunteers every day. But it's so important to pull out the examples that really highlight individual values. So we all have a role model, like the people we're going to meet today, when it comes to the behaviors that are really making an impact for our patients and families and the work that we do. Before we go around the world to all of our other hospitals, I want to share that the School of Medicine has volunteers as well throughout the system in many research areas. So one more leader I'd like to do for the system before we go hospital to hospital is Dr. Dennis Charney. Dr. Charney is our Dean of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai and President for Academic Affairs for the Mount Sinai Health System. And I know he would like to make some remarks for the many volunteers that the school employs as well.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. And, as usual, you're not enthusiastic enough. So I'm so happy to be here as we turn the page in our COVID pandemic and begin to see each other in 3 dimensions, and to be able to dedicate this time to our volunteers who, as we've already mentioned, relate to our core values that define our institution's ideals. From the school's perspective, we see enormous contributions from research volunteers in our basic laboratories, our clinical research space, our new work on artificial intelligence and genetics. Our volunteers help us make scientific discoveries that change the lives of our patients. And Sinai's greatest asset is its people, our diverse faculty, our students, the communities we serve, and the volunteers are very much part of that. We have learned over the past 3 years that many of us can be a hero by showing up, giving of ourselves, dedicating our time to scientific inquiry, to our patients, commenting on our findings through an equity lens. Our volunteers, all of you reflect the best in us through your dedicated service, your empathy, which always shines through, your creativity, and your adherence to safety. When I hear the music in the atrium and see the dogs, and I am a dog lover for the last 50 years, and their volunteer handlers, I know that a new day is here, and there's light, and the sun is shining in all of us. And while these volunteers enrich our communities and our patient care spaces, our research volunteers, although maybe less visible, are no less impactful in helping the school reach its goals. For example, over the past year, our research volunteers reported nearly 60,000 hours of volunteer service. Unbelievable. Thank you for that. From patient recruitment, scheduling, screening, helping us with data collection, our clinical research volunteers are engaged in nearly every aspect of human subject research. And that's so important because there's only a few places in the country like Mount Sinai that have the close relationship between the medical school and our hospitals. And that enables us to make discoveries that change the lives of our patients. And the volunteers are so important to that. In another topic, in 2022 alone, 275 high school students served as volunteers. And for many of them, it was a first look on what medicine can be like and what science can be like. And what has occurred, and we hope very much for this, that many of them will become our future physician scientists. That's a very important part of what we do. So each of you brings unique qualities to your volunteer service, and together you encompass our core values. I want to thank every one of you from our campus, our medical school campus, which now spans across the health system, and congratulate all of you for what you have achieved. I extend my best wishes to each of you for success in your own academic and healthcare journeys. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Charney. And thank you to all of our School of Medicine volunteers. Some incredible programs I loved hearing about. But I want to get us right into going now around to all of our hospitals. I see we're starting at Mount Sinai Hospital and going all the way through to that massive looking party at Mount Sinai Beth Israel, who's going to wrap things up at the end. So keep that energy out there for that group. We're going to take you from department to department. You'll see people, as Dr. Charney said, the future of medicine and our high school students, right through someone with 42 years of service as a nurse before becoming a volunteer for the last 15. Such a diverse group to share in their experiences. But first, I'm going to go to Mount Sinai Hospital. And before I introduce that group, Dr. David Rich couldn't be here today. He absolutely loves this program and wanted to make sure his words were captured. So he recorded a video in advance, and I'm going to go straight to that for you now.
Hello, everyone, and thank you especially to Sherry and Steve. We're really delighted to all be here today and to celebrate the Mount Sinai Health System volunteers, saluting your services and everything you do that embodies the spirit of Mount Sinai's core values. We appreciate very, very much firsthand what Mount Sinai Hospital and Mount Sinai Queens are starting to look and feel like now that we have our volunteers back. I had a wonderful experience listening to music in the West Atrium at Mount Sinai Hospital. Our care volunteers are constantly rounding in the emergency departments and inpatient units. The PET-assisted therapy group is right back there at the patient bedsides. And we also see the volunteers supporting our staff through the Take 10s and the various appreciation events and helping out with activation of bedside tablets. We feel it. There's a pulse, and it's a great pulse that we feel throughout the organization. Congratulations to Dana Kufner, now Director of Mount Sinai Hospital Department of Volunteer Services. Dana has been leading a robust reopening following COVID with new team spaces and a revitalized volunteer presence at MSH. And please, let's also call out the great accomplishments of Anna Rodriguez at Mount Sinai Queens. She's not only the volunteer director, she wears many hats, but her heart is definitely with volunteer services. And I see that every time I round a visit with Anna at Queens. Since the beginning of 23, and now with our revised masking guidelines, we're thrilled to be able to welcome volunteers back in full force. We now have over 100 active care volunteers covering the emergency department, Guggenheim Pavilion, the Klingenstein Clinical Center, and more. And hundreds more volunteers in internal partner programs like Savvy, Rottenberg Treatment Center, Dubin Breast Center, Child Life Spiritual Care, Woman to Woman, and couldn't thank you all enough. You were here, and we couldn't be happier to have you back. The At the Ready exclamation point volunteer program that we created during COVID remains a standing program, so dedicated volunteers can be deployed throughout the hospital, from stat stores to administrative office, to provide immediate assistance, and we couldn't do it without you. You really helped the hospital in so many important ways. So thank you so much, and I hope that we'll have an in-person event very soon again. In the meantime, have a wonderful special event recognizing all of your accomplishments of volunteers for Mount Sinai Hospital and Mount Sinai Queens and for the entire Mount Sinai Health System.
All right, thank you. That was Dr. David Rich, and from President of Mount Sinai Hospital and President of Mount Sinai Queens. He gave a shout out to both Dana and Anna. We're going to go back and forth to the two of them in a moment. Let's start with Dana Kiefner at Mount Sinai Hospital. Dana, you got that great party going on, but I know you want to talk about the Mount Sinai first, so I'm going to pass it to you.
Thank you, Steve. I just want to take a moment to thank all of the volunteers at the Mount Sinai Hospital and Icahn School of Medicine. Our volunteers exemplify all of the Mount Sinai values daily through care, compassion, and community. Today, we're going to focus on our commitment to safety. In the past year, we've had over 1,600 volunteers at research labs, at our greeting guests in our front entrances, in the emergency department, patient care units, and also in administrative offices. So we here at Mount Sinai Hospital and Icahn School of Medicine show safety in different ways. So right here, we have a little display of all the different areas of safety. And I would like to bring up some volunteers and staff to really speak about what safety means to them.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ruth Mendivoso, onboarding specialist at Mount Sinai. For health safety, the medical clearance process ensures all volunteers are fit to perform the duties assigned for their volunteer work. Being free of communicable disease and up-to-date immunity are necessary to not only protect our Mount Sinai patients, but also our volunteers. My role is to support volunteers during their onboarding process and ensure all requirements are met, including their health forms, which are transferred to Employee Health Services for review. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Kissinglass, and I'm an emergency department volunteer in the CARE program. In healthcare settings, infection prevention is a top priority for ensuring patient and staff safety. Simple actions like sanitizing and washing hands between patients can have a significant impact on reducing the spread of harmful germs. Wearing a face mask in critical care areas is also crucial to prevent airborne transmission of diseases. Moreover, daily self-assessments can help staff identify symptoms early and stay home when feeling sick, which can prevent infections from spreading. And I hope that we all take responsibility for infection prevention to maintain a safe healthcare environment. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Adeni, and I am a volunteer at the Reddit program. Volunteers collaborate with hospital staff to ensure that patients receive the safest care possible. Ways that I and everyone contribute to patient safety daily is by practicing preparedness and awareness, communicating with clinical staff about patients' concerns and questions, and practicing mindfulness. All of this necessitates being observant and aware of our surroundings, as well as responding appropriately. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samantha Cavasoglu, and I'm an inpatient volunteer with the CARE program. One of my biggest priorities when visiting patients is to stay aware and mindful. I think that being a presence and a companion can make a really big difference for patients. So going in with kindness and compassion can elevate that experience a lot.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael. I'm a volunteer here in the ophthalmology lab. So safety in the lab not only means keeping the cells safe from any potential contaminants, but also we have to keep ourselves safe from any biohazards or chemicals and such. And the way we do that is simply to make sure to wear a gown, wear gloves, and wear a mask to keep ourselves protected. I want to thank the volunteer department and all my colleagues in the lab for teaching me about safety in the lab. It's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our Safety Roundtable participants. Now I would like to bring up our awardee, Anamika Anjum, who we will be awarding the Mount Sinai Volunteer Value Award for Safety. Anamika is an inpatient volunteer for our CARE program. When you speak to Anamika about her volunteer experience, her face lights up when she describes how much she loves interacting with patients, communicating with them, and simply listening to their stories. Anamika is also keenly aware of patient safety. One day, Anamika entered a patient room and realized that a patient needed immediate medical attention. She ran and got the nurse who assisted the patient, potentially saving this patient's life. This is just one example of all of the amazing work that Anamika has done, and we are so proud to have her as a volunteer and honored to give her this award. So please join me in congratulating Anamika on the Safety Award.
Thank you so much, everyone. This is Anamika. I'm really grateful to Mount Sinai Volunteer Department for this amazing recognition. And I believe as a human being, everyone needs to feel safe, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And our volunteer department works tremendously wonderful to make sure that every patient gets this feeling of safety outside the clinical encounter. So I'm really happy to help on that day, and it was my honor. And I'm really happy to be this part of this amazing team with these wonderful leaders and guides. Thank you so much. Mount Sinai is the best thing happened to me till now. And I have mentioned, Dana, that this is one of my first award that I'm getting in my life. So I'm really, really honored to Mount Sinai. Thank you so much for this thing. Thank you.
The honor is all ours. Thank you, Anamika. Back to you, Steve.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anamika. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dana. Great presentation with so many of your volunteers involved. I'm going to keep it going right to Mount Sinai, Queens. It was already mentioned by Dr. Rich. Anna's group is out there, and I want to start with a quick video from their chair of emergency department, chief of emergency department, Dr. Ugo Ezenquel, who wanted to share a little video presentation first, and then we'll go to Anna.
No, this is Dr. Ugo Ezenquel, the Chief of the Emergency Department at Mount Sinai, Queens. I want to take this time to thank our volunteers who work incredibly hard in our emergency department taking care of our elderly patients. And pretty much anybody else, they really do what is called a life-saving event. They take care of our patients to the point where they bring them warm blankets, they bring them sheets, maybe water, they connect them with the clinical care team, they connect them with family members. And our patients truly, truly appreciate this. Anyone who knows the emergency department knows that it can be quite chaotic, it can be quite stressful, it can be quite noisy at times. And so to really provide this experience, our patients truly love it, and they're forever saying that they're very thankful for that. So for Dr. Hernandez and Anna Rodriguez and the team, who really take care of our care volunteers and make sure they can thrive in our emergency department, I want to say thank you to them as well. To the awardee, you truly deserve this. It is something phenomenal that the work that you're doing. I hope you continue on in a career in the health professions. This work that you're doing is worth it. It is something that is truly appreciated, and our patients thank you for it. And so from the bottom of my heart and for the behalf of the emergency department, thank you to your team and thank you to your efforts.
Excellent. Anna, I want to go straight to you next and talk about our Mount Sinai Queens team and celebrate. This is Anna Rodriguez, Director of Community Affairs, Patient Relations, and Volunteer Department at MSQ. There they are.
Dr. Ezenquel and to the entire Mount Sinai Queens family for supporting our volunteers. And it is our honor to present this award to someone who exemplifies the value of creativity. Sarah, since joining our volunteer team, and dedicated service and her willingness to help others and to embrace our community and volunteer in different aspects, helping patients, families, and participating with our staff in special events, make you our volunteer of the year. Thank you for being so phenomenal. Like the opening song said, you are a unique person, you are one of a kind, and we are so fortunate to have you. Thank you. Congratulations. The whole team, here is your award. Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you.
Okay. Oh.
Thank you for everybody. I have a great team that supported me, Anna, Sarah, and all the emergency department team and the care department team. I have wonderful opportunities. I meet good people and we work together. I meet a lot of nurses and they have many patients that I help. And, you know, being able to interact, being able to help them, it's really an honor. And I'm grateful for the opportunities. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And something we're learning about as Zoom gets better with cutting out background noise. Every time there's applause now, we don't get to hear it. That's what I don't like about Zoom. I want to hear all that energy from all the great applause that are happening, but Zoom's so high tech that it cuts out the sound of clapping. But I can feel it and see it in the energy there. Great party at Queens. Enjoy your time celebrating Volunteer Week together, and congratulations. Next up, we're going to go to Mount Sinai Morningside. Now, I've got a video I was going to play up first, but I want to go to Art Gianelli. If he's here, he's got a moment to come on. And if you're all set, I'd love to go first to our president of Mount Sinai Morningside and Chief Transformation Officer, Art Gianelli. And then Amy Bush has put together a wonderful video that talks about empathy from your group.
So thank you so much, Steve. And listen, I'm just really delighted to join all of you in celebrating all of our volunteers across the system. And we're thrilled to honor Morningside's Ann Hinrichs, who volunteered on 2 of our inpatient units, 9 East and 9 West. Last year, 161 volunteers provided support to the staff and patients at Mount Sinai Morningside. And this year, with more than double the amount of volunteer hours as this point last year, Some of our volunteers are focused specifically on helping our patients who are at high risk for falls. Our volunteers proudly embody all of the values of the Mount Sinai Health System, but when we think about the value of empathy, we think of Ann.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to go to Ann and Amy Bush in just a moment, but I know Ann spoke herself in this video that I'd love to be able to share, and then we're going to talk to Amy Bush and Ann right afterwards. But first, let's go to this wonderful video they put together at Morningside celebrating the value of empathy.
I cannot tell you the amount of times patients have been so grateful for just a little conversation we had in the hospital room, because there's this very important aspect of healthcare, which is taking care of them medically, but there's also this very important part, which is taking care of them personally, emotionally, and I think volunteers are great at doing that.
We're showing them that we care for them and that we are being attentive. And even if we don't have any personal connections to the issues or to their experience, that we are there for them. I have personally noticed the value of empathizing with the patients that I work with, who often confide in me and in other volunteers and are always grateful to be seen, heard, and valued.
Can you think of any examples we've probably experienced something at our unit?
Yeah, so I can think of times when the children have really been feeling some big emotions and not sure how to process and express those emotions. And if we show up as the most empathetic and present versions of ourselves, we can help them walk through them and channel those emotions into activities through artwork, origami. Yeah, I love origami. Yeah, drawing.
Yeah.
Sometimes just talking. Sometimes talking to each other, talking to their friends.
I think the most rewarding part is when they say to us sometimes, this was the best experience ever, and then when they find themselves again, I think that's when the empathy really worked, and I feel so alive
Me
when
too.
I hear that.
So rewarding to see the smile on their face.
True.
Empathy plays a huge role in the context of my work here at Mount Sinai Morningside, in the way I interact with patients, their families, unit staff, and even volunteers I've trained. As a volunteer, I have the unique opportunity of time to spend one-on-one with patients. I really am able to make sitting down with them, having conversations, or even just listening my priority, and that's a special privilege on such a busy inpatient unit. Empathizing with patients isn't telling them I know exactly what they're experiencing, because I don't. It's my job to let patients know that their feelings are absolutely warranted. I'm listening to them, and that I know that they're doing their best. People in the hospital are often exhausted. They're in pain, they're lonely, sometimes they're overwhelmed. I spoke with a patient once who, after introducing myself, just seemed to be so frustrated about everything, her medical situation, her food, her room, things I didn't have a lot of control over. I sensed it had been a long day, and I sat down and I said to her, I wish I could do something to make you feel better. This is frustrating, of course it is. I hear you. Once we were at eye level, her demeanor changed and she extended her hand to me, literally. I really just need some human contact, she said to me. So I sat there with her. I held her hand and I told her, of course you do. People need each other, and I can stay as long as you want right here.
Oh, really wonderful, and already said such great words there. And I want to go to Amy Bush, who's standing by with Ann to celebrate their team. Let's go to Amy Bush, Director of Volunteer Services, Language Services, and Employee Wellness for their Empathy Award at Morningside. Hi, Ann.
Hi. So I am so excited to honor Ann. She is a vital member of our volunteer team, and she said it best in her own video. Her focus is on listening to the patients, validating their feelings, and providing human contact. And I have to point out that Anne is a high school volunteer. She is 16 years old and she's just beyond her years. She's so fantastic. Thank you, Anne, for being a kind, giving, and empathetic volunteer and helping us to create a supportive patient experience. And congratulations on being our Value Award winner for empathy. I have this for you next time that you're in here at Mount Sinai Morningside. Anne, do you want to say a few things?
Just thank you so much, Amy, and for all that you and Chelsea do for Mount Sinai Morningside. And I'd also extend a huge thank you to all the nurses and PCAs that I work with on 9 East and 9 West. They really are what make me come in every weekend and have such a great time. So thank you.
That's great. I just want to say I'm so proud of our whole team. A huge thank you to all of you who volunteer at Mount Sinai, and happy Healthcare Volunteer Week.
Really wonderful. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Art. And thank you, Anne. Amy's exactly right. The way you spoke about empathy is just brilliant. It's how I want to steal it and use it for our courses and trainings we do here at Mount Sinai. It was just a perfect explanation and example of what empathy means for our patients. It's just remarkable. Thank you for all you do. And thank you to all the volunteers at Mount Sinai Morningside. We're going straight down to Mount Sinai West next. They had teamwork as a value that they awarded. But before we go to that celebrant story, we're going to go to hospital president, Dr. Evan Flato, who's standing by to say a few words on behalf of the volunteer department at Mount Sinai West. Dr. Flato.
Well, it's a great honor to be here, and this meeting is full of such energy. We are so thrilled to recognize the extraordinary contributions of our Mount Sinai West volunteers, and we are so grateful that they discovered their path to our hospital, patients, and our community. They make such a critical difference through their commitment to exceptional patient care, and they exemplify our values in the work they do just every shift. We have them in every corner of the hospital, including our emergency department, main lobby, inpatient units, AMSurge, and many other areas. And although they all embody all our values, we are highlighting teamwork every single day in the work they do. We recognize a very special volunteer who is a perfect representation of our teamwork value. Naomi Goldberg has been volunteering with us for over 15 years. And prior to that, she was a nurse at Roosevelt for 42 years, which means she was here when I was a young intern and resident in the 80s. And I hope if she remembers me, I did a good job. But she is with us today, and we are so lucky to have her and hope she stays with us for another 15 years. Congratulations to Naomi and all of our volunteers as we recognize and really celebrate you during this week.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Flato. Let's bring up, I know Maribel Fiol, Administrative Manager of Language Services and Volunteer Services at Mount Sinai West, is standing by. Hi, and I know Naomi's around. We also have a video presentation of her, but let's go to you first.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. I just want to give a big thank you to all our volunteers and tell them that you matter, you make a difference, and your dedication is very appreciated. So one amazing volunteer that we acknowledge today is Naomi Goldberg. Naomi volunteers at both the oncology suite and the emergency room weekly. She is the sweetest and so dedicated to her volunteer work. Like Dr. Flato said, not only has she volunteered for 15 years, but she's been a nurse for 42 years here at West. So I'm so happy that she chooses to volunteer each week at Mount Sinai West and be a part of our volunteer family. So in Abby Frank's words, we love Naomi. So today we thank you for all you do.
I found her video. I just put her in the spotlight. Hey, Naomi. Now, I know she wanted to pre-record. Daisy, who's sitting with her, did a quick pre-recording to interview her and hear about her experience as a volunteer. So I'm going to take you to that first. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Daisy Benitez, Coordinator for Volunteer Services here at Mount Sinai West.
Hello, I'm Naomi. I'm the volunteer here in Mount Sinai West, and I'm loving it.
I just want to thank Naomi for all her time here for volunteering. We're going to ask her a couple questions about her volunteer experience here. So the first question I have for you is, how do you demonstrate teamwork while you volunteer here?
Working together is such an easy way, okay? Whether it's a small job or a big job, especially big job, you work together and it becomes a small one, okay? Always put your heart into it. Do whatever you can do for everybody. That's the same thing they do to you.
And can you share with us how long you've been volunteering here for and what has made you volunteer here for so long?
I retired in 2007, and a few weeks after that, I volunteered. My head nurse wanted me to give her time, but I said, I'll give you my time, but as a volunteer. Okay, so I start working since then. So it's now, what, 15 years, except for the COVID. We were not allowed to come to the hospital because of it. But after that, I came back. I really love doing my job. You know, being a nurse, it's always a nurse. Okay, helping each other, keeping everybody, and myself especially, busy and happy.
Well, thank you again. You are truly appreciated here for just volunteering and giving us your time every week.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I really love working with them, hardworking, knowledgeable people. Oh my God, what else can you ask for?
Oh, thank you so much. Really wonderful. I don't know where the thanks to begin. Your whole career as a nurse, how it continues into so many years as a volunteer. Really wonderful story. Thank you, Maribel. Thank you, Daisy. And thank you, Naomi. All right, any final words? That's what we pre-interviewed, right? Didn't have to be on the spot. Okay, well, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone out there at Mount Sinai West. Okay, we're going on to Brooklyn up next. And I know Roman Keat and Christina Argueros are standing by with their award winner, Nada Bakri. But first, we're going to go to Hospital President and Chief Operating Officer for Mount Sinai Brooklyn to open things up. Please welcome Dr. Scott Lauren.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for inviting me today. I just want to say how thankful we are for all our Mount Sinai Brooklyn volunteers. It's great to have them back on site. And certainly there's a new level of energy with our volunteers walking around and everybody not having masks on, and we could actually see their faces. You know, Mount Sinai Brooklyn's a small community hospital where our volunteers make a difference every day. They also reflect the diversity of the patient population we take care of in Brooklyn. Our volunteers serve all areas of the hospital, whether it's helping a patient in the emergency room with a glass of water, delivering a newspaper in a medical unit, walking a patient to their surgery appointment, or just having those special moments with a patient, holding their hands or having a conversation. We were selected for agility for the Volunteer Value Award because one of our volunteers has unique contributions that embodies this value. She's a big heart and willingness to serve and flexibility to cover multiple areas in the hospital. From her initial training as an ambassador and working in our lobby, attending community tabling events and so much more, she was rated the #1 emergency department volunteer. And we are thankful for Ms. Nada Bakri. And so with that, I want to hand off to the greatest patient rep of all time, Roman, okay, and Christina, one of our new patient reps who we're just so happy to have aboard and to give Nada this wonderful award that she really does deserve.
Thank you, Dr. Lauren. We would like to congratulate Nada on behalf of Mount Sinai Brooklyn leadership with the award for outstanding service to all our patients and her agile help to our staff. She demonstrated ability to multitask and perform her duties with ease and poise in a stressful emergency environment on many occasions. She precepted several volunteers in the emergency room, and she's always eager to help at the health promotions outside of hospital. So I was told by many staff members that they always notice her for her kind, caring attitude and her emotional resilience. And I believe she is a very quick learner, quick thinker. She is the first one to start a project, and she's always the last one to leave when her help is needed the most. So we believe that her talents represent the Mount Sinai Health System value of agility the best. And we want to congratulate her. And maybe we can present the award right now. Congratulations.
Thank
Here you
you.
go.
Thank you.
And if you would like to say a few words, we would love to hear.
So first, I want to thank Roman and all of the volunteer coordinators and leaders that, make it possible for me to volunteer and help out the patients and interact with staff. And I'm thankful that, I guess, my quick thinking is able to help people out, and I'm able to use that to benefit the patients and the doctors and the staff and nurses and people in the emergency. And I don't know, I just thank you for the opportunity. I'm really glad that I'm able to interact with all of the people that I do, and hopefully it will make me a great healthcare provider in the future. Thank you.
I think we're all very thankful for having Nada here. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Congrats, Nada. I love the agility value too. And it's something so critical that we all possess to be able to handle anything that comes our way. And it's, I think, especially so for our volunteers. You never know in what way you can contribute. And all of you are just always ready to contribute in any way that'll help your patients, help their families, help the Mount Sinai community. So thank you all. Really wonderful. Up next, I know we have Mount Sinai South Nassau. Now they've got a special thing going. They already received a safety award just recently from their safety and security department. Safety and security award recognized the volunteer services department, and they already had a pre-planned special celebration for today. They're offsite enjoying that. But they also received the Safety Values Award from Volunteer Services. So I have a special message from their president, Dr. Adi Sharma, who wanted to share by video. We've got a clip of them receiving the award from their department. And of course, we celebrate them for safety today as well. Let's go to this final video before our last two groups.
We are so grateful to have our volunteers back at Mount Sinai South Nassau. Whether assisting our patients and visitors in the front lobby, in our ED triage area, or the patient care units, you bring a welcome helping hand and an extra level of compassion to every encounter. Your presence has marked another sign of a return to normalcy 3 years after the start of the pandemic, serving as a friendly visitor to patients who are apprehensive and alone, or working on our Vaxmobile, or following up with patients remotely. You all play an indispensable role in helping the hospital serve the community. We are grateful for every one of you. In 2022, our more than 130 volunteers provided 21,535 hours of service. Thank you for sharing your talents with us. We celebrate you today and every day.
Hello, everybody. Today's a very exciting day. Today we have nominated the Volunteer Services Department as the Safety and Security Bronze Award recipients for the month of February. Congratulations, Sharon and Ann.
Thank you, thank you.
And why were they selected? The volunteers go above and beyond the call of duty for safety and security each and every day. They demonstrate respect and teamwork during many different events, including incidents and exercises here at Mount Sinai South Nassau. They also display the highest level of professionalism and the 5-star standards at all times. They escort our patients to all areas of the hospital in a friendly and professional manner. They also demonstrate the use and knowledge and handling of all the code calls, especially Code Red and Code Pink. Congratulations, guys.
All right, so here's a quick look at their award they received from their safety and security team. We'll get a group shot, and then let's take one quick look of them receiving their award. Again, they're celebrating today offsite, a special celebration, but that's their team receiving this award. And I just, one of the things I'm loving about going around to these different themes for each is you really see the diverse range of ways volunteers are making an impact by showcasing each value at each site. So I'm just enlightened and inspired by the stories we've heard so far. And we've got another group to go from South Nassau. Congrats again to them. We've got a big watch party. Maybe we can just zoom in right on the big watch party at MSBI. We're going to go to MSBI. There we go. MSBI, New York Ioneer, and MS Downtown. They got a big group ready to celebrate. I'm going to pass around the mic. I've got a few leaders to go to, but first, I believe we're going to go to Dr. Jeremy Bull. He's the Executive Vice President and Chief Clinical Officer to start things off out there for Beth Israel. Jeremy.
Hey, great to see everybody. I am not the president of Beth Israel anymore. That's why Steve referred to me with my other title, so I don't want to speak for too long. I just want to say I love you all. I'm so incredibly proud of the work that you do every day. and our volunteer staff and our volunteer department and our high school students who are extraordinary and our partners at those high schools. You make us so proud. This is some of the most inspiring work that we get to be a part of and witness. So with that, I'll turn it over to my former and wonderful team downtown.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. I believe we were going to go to, as you were making the announcement, new president and chief operating officer, Mount Sinai Beth Israel, is Liz Selman. Elizabeth, standing by.
Hey, everybody, and thank you so much for this this event. Again, I'm Liz Selman. I'm the new president and chief operating officer here. I don't know many of the volunteers in the room, but I promise I'm going to get to know everybody. We've had an amazing year of volunteers, and like Dean Charney, we're so grateful that we can do this again, and so many others. We're so grateful to be able to do this again. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for all the work that you've done for us, and I look forward to continuing the work for years to come. And with that, I think I'm handing it off to Jim Sy.
Yeah, thank you, Liz.
So much.
Dina and Christine are in the room. They're going to come back on in a moment, but we're also celebrating New York Eye and Ear that they cover at downtown. So let's go to Dr. James Sy, president of New York Eye and Ear. There we go.
And I'm also very grateful for our volunteers. New York Eye and Ear has for many years relied on its volunteers to help us achieve our focus on equity. And our volunteers from downtown have just been so helpful to patients, compassionate. They've really made patients feel at home at New York Eye and Ear. So we're very proud to be part of the downtown family, working very closely with MSBI and the other downtown facilities. So thank you all, and thanks to our volunteers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sy. Let's go back to the watch party. I know there's a big group in there, and I believe Dina Jacobson, project manager of special projects, is there. Christine Pescator, manager of the Office of Patient Experience and Volunteer Services, both representing BI and New York Eye and Ear. I believe they're with Dr. Yvette Calderon, who's going to say a few words. So let's go back to the big party. Dina, why don't you take it from here?
Okay. Congratulations to all the Mount Sinai Health System volunteers, and of course to our Mount Sinai Beth Israel volunteers. Thank you so much, Dr. Bowl, Ms. Selman, Dr. Sy, and Dr. Calderon for your incredible support of the volunteers. Thank you, Christine, for all of your help planning the event. I would like to introduce Dr. Yvette Calderon, Chair of the Emergency Medicine Department at Mount Sinai Beth Israel. Dr. Calderon was recently appointed the Dean and Vice President for Equity in Clinical Care at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai Health System. Dr. Calderon will present the Equity Award to Dr. Shatterpal, the Assistant Principal for Science and Health at the High School for Health Professions and Human Services, Ajane Field, nurse practitioner and medical assisting instructor, and Tanola Dunkley, the work-based learning coordinator and CTE pharmacy assisting instructor at Union Square Academy of Health Sciences. These two schools participate in our high school internship program. Dr. Calderon has played a pivotal role in the development of this program and is integral to its ongoing success. She has encouraged and supported many emergency department physicians, including residents, to be mentors to many of you. All of you have benefited from Dr. Calderon's commitment to helping you achieve your dreams as future healthcare leaders. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Yvette. Dr. Shatterpal, Aja, and
Nina is really the person to give the credit to because she's just amazing. I want to be able to thank our awardees because honestly, they have been partnering with us. They have been able to thoughtfully pick out the students that are going to come and volunteer. So, sorry. And we really want to thank them because they have made this an incredibly successful program for us. But more than that, we're honored to be able to be part of the mentorship that you get because you guys are exceptional, and also to be part of a program that will instill diversity in our healthcare workforce in the future. So we want to thank you and give you the award. Thanks so much.
Thank you to the Mount Sinai Health System on behalf of the High School for Health Professions, our principal, Robert Gentile, and all of our students. Thank you for honoring us and continuing to give us the opportunity to be here and continuing to help diversify the healthcare workforce. And thank you especially to Dina for making sure that all of our volunteers are able to get in and continue to mentor them. Thank you.
I want to say on behalf of Union Square Academy for Health Sciences, thank you to all the amazing staff, the mentors. Each year you give our students such a valuable experience, and I know they'll take with them in the future, and it's all greatly appreciated, so thank you.
I just want to thank everyone here today at Mount Sinai for this opportunity for my students. This has been, as somebody who works in the medical profession, I do know what it takes to put something like this together and to be so supportive of the student body. So we are beyond grateful and appreciative.
All right, thank you so much. Really wonderful presentation, a wonderful partnership I've loved hearing and learning more about. Christine Pescatore, are we going back to you for a moment, a final word from downtown?
Liz.
You're muted.
The mic's working for you in the room, and it muted for us on Zoom. It's going off and on.
Okay, good. We're good. I'm sorry.
Not your mic. Your mic's doing great.
All right. I just want to thank everyone for coming today and to our leadership, Dr. Bull, Liz Selman, Dr. Sai. Without your support and guidance, Dina and I would not be able to provide these opportunities to these students, as well as our amazing staff here who mentors and supports us as well. And to the educators of the schools, thank you so much for trusting us with your students. And to you guys in this room, the students, thank you, guys rock. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone at MSBI. You know, Sherry, I got to come back. That's our last group. We got to round this out. What a wild and exceptional hour of learning about all of these, the wide range of volunteer roles that are being celebrated.
It's beyond. My head is spinning. My heart is pumping. This has been the most joyous volunteer recognition I've ever been to. Each hospital, each group of people, each awardee is magnificent. I hope you all get your bookmarks. I'm verklempt. I'm thrilled. What do you think we want to do next year? Because next year we're going to do it in person. Could people drop some ideas in the chat? Pizza? I don't know. We need to do something special and pick a place. We need a site, but let's all be together in person next year.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about the bookmark is, you know, oftentimes we're using values as a reminder of these are the things we strive to be, but you all as volunteers can look at this bookmark and each time know that that's what you're contributing to the patient experience. All of these values, we've talked about it today, how every day you're contributing in these ways to the experience our patients and families and colleagues all receive every day. So thank you so much. Really spectacular hour. And I want everyone, there's so many volunteers here to thank, and there's so many who are out volunteering right now. So everyone has a responsibility to the next time you see a volunteer in action, you walk right up to them and give a special thank you. All right,
Yay.
Sherry, I think the ideas are coming in.
We are a big family, Steve, don't you think? One big Mount Sinai family. Do you hear anything?
We should get the We Are Family music going, but let's hear some noise, even though your watch parties are on mute. Start cheering. It's the big finale. Let your room ring loudly. The applause are going. Have a great night, everyone, and thank you all. gonna be our final fade out. Big last cheer, group.
Thank you, everyone.
Living life is fun and we've just begun to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we had for the future and our goals inside.